Grimm is one of those shows that waffles a little between good and great. When they do good, though, they do really good. And I'm liking it so far. So, here we are with the season opener for the final season, and it's promising to be a war. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Grimm's final season. And just a recap for those of you that don't know what Grimm is. Grimm is a show all about the Grimm fairy tales. Imagine that those brothers, instead of just being fairy tale writers, were actually supernatural hunters like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And they fought all sorts of different creatures. And now, their descendants continue that fight, and their descendants are spread across the world. Our main character, Nick, he's the one that's currently holding the mantle of the Grimm in the show, although there's a couple others that stop by every now and again. He's surrounded by a whole team of individuals who have their own little things here and there. Primarily his partners, Monroe, who is a Blootbot, a werewolf, and Hank, who's his police officer partner, along with their significant others and a few other characters that are ranging from supernatural to police force. The thing that made this different was it was part procedural and part supernatural hunt. They were obviously doing it as a police procedural to begin with. The characters are all very thought out and very developed. There's not much in the way of two-dimensionality here. Now, love them or hate them, there's a couple of them that maybe aren't necessarily the best, but as we go into this season, there's going to be a lot going on, so strap in and let's get into spoiler territory. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. The episode starts off strong, getting the team back together in those drain tunnels, and also leads to one of the most coolest lines in the episode. "You're not Nick's ghost, are you?" God, I hope not. Now, that's not to say the whole episode was perfect. Every season opener has a problem to deal with in that it needs to recap and be a starting point for new people showing up. This one doesn't do that quite so well. If I didn't already know all the characters, this would be very confusing, and the fact that it's a change from what the storyline has been up till now means that there's quite a few twists we need to accept. Now, having said that, this one also has to deal with the fact that it's been off the air for the longer time than usual, not just coming back from a mid-season break like usual. But I liked it. I liked the way they took it in a new direction. I liked the way they handled everything, and of course, the biggest mystery, the stick. Now, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure that the words new status quo really matter, because it's the final season, and if anything, it's mostly just an escalation. The show was always a procedural, like I said, but it also always had bits of the supernatural coming in here and there, along with overarching stories as each season went on. This season, it just seems that they're escalating everything to 11, especially everything going on with Nick being wanted for murder, the shoot-to-kill order, and you know what? Let me just pause right there for a second. Police, even in the real world, where we have quite a few bullshit examples of really bad cops doing really bad things, cannot issue a shoot-to-kill order if the person is not actually in the middle of committing a violent crime. Just being on the run is not a shoot-to-kill order, and I hate when shows do that. It makes the cops look so horrible that they would be manipulated by a bad guy, and yes, I know Renard's the bad guy right now, but seriously, the fact that the other police officers are like, oh, well, maybe he should run because I don't want to have to be involved. No, it's an illegal order. Seriously. Like, seriously. Shows just do get on my nerves with that, and maybe that just kind of soured me to the season opener a little more than others. That and the fact that I'm still not entirely on board with the villain of early seasons being the love interest this season. But everyone else is doing awesome. I love the way they do Woo. In fact, I love all the supporting cast. They're all doing great. Some really great actors that are going to be out of work come the end of this season, and that's kind of sad. I hope they all get to go on to do additional shows. And anyone who watches my channels regularly knows the fact that Friday nights used to belong to MacGyver, although between some fair use problems and the fact that it's just not as good as Grimm, there was no way I was going to give up Grimm for this. Besides, 5 years of watching Grimm, definitely I owe it a little something. I might swing back and catch the end of MacGyver on In Demand, and if I do, I'll do another catch-up. I still have a mid-season break episode of it coming up for you. In the meantime, this show is kicking into high gear, and like I said, it's escalating. The war is on, and now let's see which way they go with it. They're calling it the final chapter, and I have to say, they ratcheted up the magic, they ratcheted up the power, and oh boy, do they ratchet up the consequences. They've even done a pretty decent job, notwithstanding the whole shoot-to-kill order, at making it so that the procedural and the cop part and the supernatural part are married together. So we're going to see exactly what that means as the episodes go on, and whether or not that means that Juliet's back, or if we still have Eve. But those were my thoughts, and I'm curious what you did. Did you think that this was a good opener, a good introduction for those of you that haven't seen it before? And if not, what about those of you that are returning fans like myself? Did you like the direction they went? We'll hear from you, and then remember that I need you to like and share this video so that we can build a community. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to hear all of my insane thoughts on the heart of the stories we tell. Have a good night, and thanks for watching. Don't forget, up next, Emerald City.